The suspect in the Charlie Kirk shooting appeared to confess in an online chat. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn, in for Hannah Jewell. It's Tuesday, September 16th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Our first story today is a Washington Post exclusive. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is the suspect in the killing last week of conservative activist Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. The Post obtained screenshots of messages from an account belonging to Robinson from Thursday evening. They said, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." Just a few hours later, Robinson turned himself in to law enforcement. He has not confessed to the authorities. Yesterday, filling in on Kirk's podcast, Vice President J.D. Vance vowed retribution on liberal institutions in the aftermath of Kirk's killing. He also urged Kirk supporters to carry on his legacy.
Start a chapter of TPUSA or get involved in the one that already exists. If you're older, volunteer for your local party, write an op-ed in your local paper, run for office. I can't promise you this is going to be easy. Can't promise you that all of us will avoid Charlie's fate. Can't promise you that I will avoid Charlie's fate. But the way to honor him is to shine the light of truth like a torch in the very darkest places.
Robinson's first court hearing is today in Utah. Number 2. The Israeli military has begun its ground invasion of Gaza City. Israel's military launched the early stages of a ground offensive to seize Gaza City overnight, according to an Israeli military official. The city in the Palestinian territories north used to be Gaza's most populous. Israel intends to occupy it. Those plans sparked a terrified scramble of civilians from the area over the past few weeks. It has also drawn condemnation from Israel's European allies and led to mass protests in Israel. This morning, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said in a post that, quote, "Gaza is burning." He said Israel will not relent or turn back until the mission is complete. And in some other world news, the U.S. killed 3 people in a strike on an alleged drug boat from Venezuela yesterday. It's the second such strike this month and has raised major questions about its legality. Number 3. President Donald Trump has filed a $15 billion lawsuit against the New York Times. Trump has accused the paper and some of its reporters of libeling him in several articles and a book in the lead-up to the 2024 presidential election. Penguin Random House, the publisher of a book titled Lucky Loser, How Donald Trump Squandered His Father's Fortune and Created the Illusion of Success, is also named as a defendant. The lawsuit comes days after Trump threatened to sue the New York Times for publishing articles related to a sexually suggestive note and drawing given to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Number 4. The government will soon stop issuing paper checks for most payments. After September 30th, the Treasury Department will stop issuing paper checks for tax refunds, Social Security payments, and most government programs. Experts widely agree that electronic payments are faster to process than paper checks and less susceptible to fraud and theft. But more than 5 million people still receive physical checks from the government. That group is largely composed of seniors, people with disabilities, immigrants, and others without bank accounts. Advocates worry they will struggle with the change. People might not be aware that they need to sign up for an alternate payment method or be able to do so quickly. Number 5 is another Post exclusive. National parks were ordered to remove photos of an enslaved man's scars. Back in March, President Trump signed an executive order directing the Interior Department to eliminate information that reflects a, quote, corrosive ideology that disparages historic Americans. To comply with that order, the Trump administration has ordered the removal of signs and exhibits related to slavery at multiple national parks. That includes a historic photograph of a formerly enslaved man showing scars on his back. Trump officials' latest targets include removing information at Harpers Ferry National Historic Park in West Virginia. That's where the abolitionist John Brown led a raid seeking to arm slaves for a revolt. Staff have also been told that information at the president's house site in Philadelphia, where George Washington kept slaves, does not comply with the Interior Department's new policy. Number 6 is good news for people who hate daylight saving time. Getting rid of it could be good for our health. A new study by researchers at Stanford Medicine found that people would be a little less prone to obesity and strokes if we ditched the clock change. They also found that changing to permanent standard time would be a little healthier than switching to permanent daylight saving time. The study adds to a body of evidence that has suggested the twice-yearly clock switch is linked to a rise in heart attacks and car accidents, and a decrease in sleep and work engagement. And for those of us with children, it also wreaks untold havoc on parenting. Make it stop, please. Make it stop. And at number 7. A mom sprinted barefoot across Legos on purpose. A few years ago, Gabrielle Wall feared she might have blood cancer, so she decided she could no longer wait to complete her bucket list. One of her top tasks was to set a world record, and the one she chose isn't necessarily what I would have picked. Wall landed on a feat that had never been done, but included a piercing pain. She knew other parents could relate. She trained for months to sprint for 100 meters across thousands of Lego bricks. It wasn't easy. While practicing, she got calluses, rolled ankles, and fielded questions from friends who couldn't understand why she pushed herself so hard. In the end, she completed the sprint in Christchurch, New Zealand, in 24.75 seconds. Guinness World Records certified her accomplishment this month. And in even better news, she was ultimately diagnosed with a less scary blood disorder. So she should have many more years ahead of her to step on Legos.